Homeless people work harder than the working class. I don't care what anyone else has to say about it.
Hello, my friends. Welcome to the show. So glad you could be here today. We have a wonderful show planned for you. President Trump addresses the 19 or so countries that he is locking down in regards to immigration. Apparently, Black Santa is a no-show so far in this Christmas season. And did you know that homeless people actually work harder than people with 9-to-5 jobs? We'll get into that. And of course, we've got some white privilege accusations being thrown around and other general liberal madness to get into. So stay tuned, my friends. Let's get on the rest of the show. News and nuts. News and nuts. Hey, it's news and nuts.
That animal should not have been allowed to come into our country.
How long does your administration plan to pause asylum into the U.S.?
I think a long time.
Can you give any kind of time?
We don't want them. We don't want those
time?
people. We have enough problems. We don't want those people.
Is there a list of...
Well, I guess we gave you 19, right? And there's probably more than that. They're very crime-ridden countries. They're countries that don't do a good job. They're countries that don't register from the standpoint of success. And we, frankly, don't need their people coming into our country telling us what to do.
With over 5,000 Afghanis led into the country due to Biden's inept administration, Caroline Levitt tells us that President Trump and his administration are now going through and checking every single one of these people. And pretty much anybody that is not a citizen of this country, if they do harm towards our citizens, towards our country, they are going to be subject to deportation. And I totally agree with this. Check it out.
The Trump administration is now actively re-examining all of the Afghans imported into the country by Joe Biden. Any individual who threatens our national security or our citizenry will be subject to removal. It is more important than ever to finish carrying out the president's mass deportation operation.
This new approach that President Trump has taken with immigration reminds me of an analogy that Trump Jr. made in Trump's first administration. And it was basically if you had a big bowl of M&Ms and there was one M&M that was tampered with or contaminated, poisonous, and you had no idea which M&M it was in this big bowl of M&Ms, would you take any of those? Would you eat any of them? No, you would throw the entire bowl out. And this is exactly, I think, the new approach that President Trump is taking. Whoa, wait a minute. Yeah. Really? It's official. I can't, what? Where's that switch? Okay. Oh, it is official. Okay, wow, that's surprising. So soon. Okay, I'll let everybody know. Thank you very much. All right, my friends, that's an official Crockett alert from my producer. It is kind of strange because we didn't even get out of news and nuts before she popped up on the radar. So let's see what kind of insane racist rhetoric she's spewing today.
Now you want to go against every single immigrant. That doesn't make sense. And it's frankly not who we are, because if that's the case, let's talk about the white supremacists and how many of them need to be kicked out of this country, because I can guarantee you, I can track down more crimes that they've committed, because overall immigrants have a lower crime committal rate than white supremacists. But we don't want to talk about that in this country.
Well, if anything else, Jasmine Crockett is consistently a disappointment to Texas and anybody else in Congress. But my friends, that's it for the news. Now on to the nuts. In this first clip, we have an item that I think every single man would probably want if they're being honest. So let's check it out. This next clip shows a man on a commercial flight, and the question is asked, should a refund be offered? I kind of think yes, and I'm interested to know what you think after you've seen the clip. Let me know in the comments down below. I came across this question and I thought it was interesting and I wanted to share it with all of you and get your take on it. Why do men stay in the car for minutes after arriving home? Well, that's a good question. Do you stay in the car and, I don't know, just listen to that last song or something when you get home from work? Let's see what the rest of the story is here. To prepare for the stress. Yeah, okay, I can see that. If you've got a lot of kids and stuff, you're like walking into a battle zone. It's kind of like that guy that's stuck on that plane. I think he needed to do something to prepare for that stress. Maybe take a few of those bottles, knock himself out until he lands. I don't know. So, what do you do? Do you chill out in the car before you walk into your house, or do you just is it even a thing? All right, my friends, we have arrived at that liberal pool of madness. So sit back, relax, and buckle up. We're about to enter the Lib Zone.
I got a bone to pick this year because I done went to Michael's, Hobby Lobby, and Walmart today, and I have not seen one black Santa. Now, I don't know what's going on with all this DEI business, but Santa, Black Santa, is missing in action, and we need to find him. I ain't going to Target, so I can't check Target. I'm going to Marshall's next, and I better see a Black Santa somewhere.
So is this maybe another example of the DEI ideology, the woke madness that our country has been going through for the last several years? Do you think that's another sign that maybe we're healing and coming back to common sense? Look, I think Santa Claus should be white. Now, maybe that's my white privilege talking, but I don't think there should be a racial component to Santa Claus. Traditionally, he's been a big, fat, white, jolly old man who gives presents to everybody, regardless of what color you are. So does there really need to be a black Santa and an Indian Santa and a Chinese Santa and, blah, blah, blah? I don't think so. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. How's it going, everybody? I hope you're enjoying the episode. I just wanted to give you a quick reminder that if you'd like to sponsor a future episode, you can do so with a PayPal link and a Super Thank link down below. You can also pick up a cool shirt like this Liberal Evolution, some authentic Idle Hands merch from the store anytime, 24/7. And also follow me on X at Idle Hands Dave. All right. Thank you, and let's get back to the show.
This might be a controversial statement, but I'm going to say it anyway because I know I'm right, and because the fact that it is controversial in and of itself is up. The homeless work harder than the working class.
Yes, that is a very controversial statement.
Whether they have a job or not. Homelessness is constant work. You are constantly working to be able to get food, to be able to stay warm enough, to be able to figure out where the hell you're gonna piss and shit, to get clean, like hygiene, figuring out how to afford necessities or how to get them for free. Homeless people work harder than the working class. I don't care what anyone else has to say about it. I am correct.
Yes, that is a bold statement to take when every single other person that is alive would say otherwise.
And another thing that I think is worth mentioning is that the whole point in working for society is that society gives something back to you. You work for society, and society does its part to make sure that you are provided for doing said work. Homeless people who have jobs are not being provided for. And therefore, they are giving to a society that gives nothing back. That's not what society is supposed to look like. Late-stage capitalism is bullshit. Homeless people don't owe society anything. And society owes the homeless a lot more than they're giving them.
Cut these Democrats out your life. There's nothing good about them. We got to stop dancing around this idea that they don't know what they're doing and that like some are good, some are bad. We got to get around that. No, they're all bad. There's not one decent Democrat left in America.
Well, come on. There's probably a few that's left in America, but really those numbers are insignificant when looking at the Democratic Party as a whole.
Charlie Kirk. Like, I'm glad the guy's dead, actually. So,
you're glad he's dead?
Yeah, I'm glad. White men are literally the single greatest threat to humans being fed, housed, clothed, having their basic needs. White men are the greatest threat to that. That's what I know. Everything else, you want me to give you all these statistics and things? Like, I'm not a data analyst. I only know the experiences of the people I censor on.
What do you think we should do about white men?
That's a question for you. Can you do something about your people?
Well, I don't see any problems.
Because you're a white man!
Well, you're also unable to name me an example, right?
The example is you having the privilege to even be out here while there are people sleeping literally next to you, homeless on the ground.
Well, don't you have that same privilege?
No, it's not about the privilege that you're talking about. A privilege as a white man to be able to move about the world and ask people to give you examples about blackness. And I'm saying the example is that you out here recording and these people are out here sleeping. And none of them look like you.
Well, there are homeless people who are white.
Well, let's check out and see what it is like with a society that's primarily white. Let's check that out. Okay, so we've got whites without blacks. Okay, yeah, that's rather pretty. Beautiful. All right, let's contrast that then with blacks without whites. See if this lady's theory holds up. Oh, well, that is, that is definitely opposite of beautiful. Yeah, there is definitely a stark contrast for sure. Let's see what some other people have to say. All those damn white men running the countries in Africa where people are having difficulty getting fed and housed. 9 out of the top 10 poorest countries in the world are in Africa. Not one is run by a white man. Why is only a certain type of racism tolerated? Oh, that's a really good question. Why did I want to hear more of that interview? Because there were probably a lot more spicy takes that we didn't get to hear. Up next is a young lady, and she's talking about not being able to hear the chirp of the fire alarm. It's interesting because a couple of videos ago, there was apparently a clip where there was a chirp going on. I totally missed it, but there were a few viewers that were like, hey, I heard the chirp. So I don't know what it is, but there seems to be a lot of videos of young black men and women, and while they're talking, you hear the smoke detector go off. Now, personally, when I hear that noise, it drives me nuts. I don't like to hear it once, and I take care of it ASAP, but I don't know. This young lady basically says it's like white noise, and she doesn't really hear it, but I don't know how that's possible. Take a look.
The funniest thing about the black people and the smoke detector thing is that we genuinely don't hear it. I was about 15 before I actually heard it for the first time, and it's because I was on Skype with one of my online friends or whatever playing Minecraft. His name was Melon, and he used to get so mad. Like, this one day, his mom had pissed him off, and he got so mad, and he started yelling, and then he was like, Sage, change the batteries in your smoke detector. I'm like, how would you know they need to be changed? He's like, because of that constant beeping, you don't hear it? And I was like, no, I don't. And I tried to listen out for it. I still didn't hear it. And then the next day I woke up, and I heard the beep. I'm like, that's just a coincidence. And then I didn't hear it till a week later, consistently.
You can't come in here and pay me, and then you can talk to us all kind of way you want to, bro.
I can talk to you however the hell
No, you cannot.
Go back to your damn country if you want to act like that.
Back to the... You just told me to go back to my country?
Yes, I did say that.
Bitch, I saw your EBT card in there. Guess who?
So what?
Guess who paid for that motherfucking shit? I did.
Oh, well.
Bitch, you know
how do you want me to feed my kids? I'm fat.
Oh, my God, boy, you got me up, bro.
Yes, you got me
I
fucked up.
pay
Bitches
taxes
like to eat.
for your food.
Yeah, bitches like to eat and my kids like to
I
eat.
pay taxes for your food, and you told me to go back to my country?
Good. That's what you
Your lazy, big-ass bitch. The look like a your bowling pin looking ass.
That's because I like to
You look like my suburban, okay? Potato bill looking ass head. Get the out of here.
I have been paying on my student loans for 4 years. My balance has gone down 0.95%. I am almost halfway through my payment term. My balance has gone down 0.95%. I'm making the minimums every month. I'm paying extra.
Wait a minute. That is not possible. You cannot pay minimum and extra on a loan at the same time. I mean, how does that work in your world? I would be really interested to know.
My original balance was $18,226. That was in 2019. My current payoff in 2025 is $17,390.95, which means that my balance has gone down after 4 years of payment, $835.05. In that time, I have paid $10,000 towards it. $10,000. It's kind of hard to get the exact number on that because they've been switched over to a different company and they've lowered my minimums constantly. It used to be that I was paying $205.59. I'm now paying them $205.13, so they gave me a bit of a discount on that. But I've paid $10,000 towards that. I've paid over 50% of my loans, and my balance has gone down 0.95%. It's not even a full percent that my balance has gone down in 4 years of paying $200 a month. I have 11 years left on a 10-year term after 4 years of paying. I'm literally never getting out of this.
Yeah, that loan is going to be forever because that 11 years is going to be more like 20 years realistically. I think you need to refinance, consolidate all of your loans into one that's going to considerably lower your interest. And if you can afford it, start making even $50 more a month than the minimum will significantly reduce the principal on the loan, which is what you want. Now, if you can make double the payments per month, you would shave off years off of that loan. So that's what you need to do. I don't know. It really sucks because your situation is exactly what happens to hundreds of thousands of people out there that get into student loans and private loans and whatever for school. They get absolutely trapped and almost become an indentured servant to the loan itself. It's kind of sad.
I was at the piercer last night with my girlfriend to get my nostril chain and to get her septum pierced and her helix downsized, and we were talking about like fun piercings to get, and I was like, you know, there's something, I want to get stabbed, I want to get a fun piercing, and my piercer looked at me and was like, nasaling, do it, and I was like, you do a nasaling on me? Because like, from what I've seen, most piercers turn down clients asking for a nasaling because like, it's a very, it takes a specific piercer and a specific client who is able to trustworthily do the piercing and also heal the piercing. Like, it's a whole thing. And I was like, I've reached a level of being pierced that, like, you do the fun piercings on me? Ah! This is exciting. I'm going to get a bunch of experimental, exciting piercings in my mid to late 20s. This is going to be the goal. I have to wait until I'm 21 to get any more face piercings, though, because I'm healing like 4 right now, but that's okay.
Well, I personally had no idea what this guy was talking about, so I had to look it up, and it apparently it's a triple piercing. It's a barbell or a bar of some sort. I don't know. Whatever the terminology for piercings is, it's a single bar. It goes through one nostril, through the septum, and then out the other nostril. One straight shot. It's apparently very painful. It takes a long time to heal. The person doing it has to be essentially an expert in piercings, and not everybody can get it because not everybody's nose is structured in a way to allow it. So I don't know. I mean, if this guy wants to do it, fine, whatever, to each his own, but I personally wouldn't get it. How about you? Would you ever consider getting nasal-langed? Let me know. Prison is a perfect place for liberals if you think about it. Okay, well, let's think about it. Everyone is treated equal. Okay, free food. Well, that sounds great. Free healthcare for everyone. You're always screaming about that. No one has guns except the guards. Well, that sounds perfect. No, Second Amendment rights issues to worry about. And no cars and no gas. Wow. This does seem like a utopia for liberals.
This is a real-life testament of how the government is affecting a 22-year-old person living in Texas in the year of 2025. I have my degree. I have my degree in food service. I specifically chose that degree because I knew that everybody needs food. There would always be a job in food service. I cannot find a job from my degree, because technically, getting into specifics, my degree is in baking and pastry, that pays more than $15 an hour. I have seen dishwasher positions offering to pay more. I have applied to nearly every food service related job in a 20-mile radius to my house. I had an interview with Chili's last week. Chili's! As a to-go expediter. I have been working food service for 6 years. And I was denied a job at Chili's. I currently make, because I work 1099s, I work 3 jobs right now. I do DoorDash, I do pet sitting, and I am a personal assistant. Currently, right now, I have just made the most money I have ever made. My entire life, actually. I was going to say this year, but my entire life. I made over $3,000 this month. $3,000. The most I have ever made in a month. The most I have ever made in a year. The most I have made in my life. I don't qualify for SNAP benefits because I currently live with my parents for $800 a month.
So after paying $800 to your parents, you're trying to tell us that you cannot live off of $2,200 a month being single? What kind of bills do you have, lady? You should be living large right now.
But guess what? I still don't qualify for SNAP benefits because the average income of the household is more than the requirement. But why should the household be responsible for my food? I don't want my aunt to have to pitch in to pay for my food. I currently pay for everything. I'm currently at my parents' house. I don't pay rent here, and I pay for everything. The only thing that I do not pay for, correction, is my car insurance. That is the only thing I do not pay for.
So you don't spend $800 on rent to your parents because you just said you did, and now you're telling us that you don't pay for your car insurance? So seriously, lady, what are you spending your money on? And why on earth are you even applying for SNAP benefits when you're making $3,000 a month? Where's your money going to? Seriously. I would really like to know.
Living in America as a young adult is near impossible. And now they've cut off SNAP benefits for those who were able to get them. What kind of dystopian fuckery are we living in?
And another thing, y'all gotta start fighting back at these jobs. Steal. I mean it. Start stealing. My last company don't even know they helped get my business off the ground. I was stealing company time, taking paper clips, thumbtacks, making copies, sending out faxes. I started my website there, printing out flyers. Like, Yeah, what Denzel said, I'm going to leave here with something. And then when I had enough office supplies, I said, let's start stealing from the break room. They load up on tissue on Fridays in the bathroom. I brought my big purse and I loaded up tissue from the house. It got to the point where I was bringing my soap dispenser and filling up my soap every Friday in my soap dispenser because I'm not paying for detergent if y'all got it. I'm stealing forks, plates, cups, like, okay?
They are not illegal firearms, okay? They're not. They are undocumented weapons living in sanctuary homes. If y'all can do it, we can do it too. That's all.
The outlook for the country's debt is very much an issue here in this country. And we had Elon Musk weighing in on this one in a new podcast. Elon saying that in his view, AI is the only thing that could solve the country's debt crisis. Let me get over to the panel here on this one. Brooke, I get what Elon is saying here, but I mean, there's got to be more at play here than AI.
I mean, certainly what he is saying here is that AI will ultimately drive productivity, and that will ultimately lead to a decline in the cost of this. The debt will decline based upon how much this ramps up. But what I'm skeptical about here is that he says that this timeline is about 3 years from now, that we'll see such ramp up in AI productivity that will ultimately drive down U.S. debt. But what we're hearing from these companies is that this timeline, we're waiting to see this all kind of come to fruition. And so while he says this, and while he thinks that AI and robotics can really solve this debt situation by ultimately ramping up productivity, that could then impact real GDP growth, we're still waiting to see if this happens. Of course, Elon Musk is known to have these very futuristic outlooks, and so perhaps take everything with a grain of salt as well.
Nicole, I get what Elon is saying. More productivity, maybe less costs in government. Do you agree with him here?
Well, you know, when you think about the debt picture, what helps obviously is faster GDP growth. If you look at 2026, the AI CapEx spend is definitely supporting the GDP growth going into next year, even though we expect rates to pretty much stay, the Fed to stay on hold for the next 2 years. So in that sense, it is supporting it. You know, I think of the debt picture and long-term rates. You know, we expect long-term rates to stay at this 4.3%. You know, we don't expect it to stay pretty sticky. Again, as I said, we don't expect the Fed to cut anymore. And so I think the debt picture, you maybe do have some help with AI helping kind of just the overall growth and eventually productivity. Again, that's something that's very, very difficult to measure. And you also have some of the tariffs coming in that is helping a little bit on the fiscal side as well.
Adam, we're never going to solve this, AI or not.
I mean, look, Rui was getting at is very futuristic, but he's getting at this is the next industrial revolution, right? It's, you know, where people were comparing it to railroads and that sort of thing, is that it could lead to, you know, this kind of explosion in the economy in a positive way, which would lead to, you know, less need for entitlements, higher tax revenue, and that could help pay down the debt. But I think it's a little bit short-sighted to say that that's going to happen in the next 3 to 5 years. This is a global problem, and so it's not going to be solved that quickly and that easily.
Well, something needs to be done because the current system of capitalism as we know it, it's only a matter of time before that system is obsolete when AI and robots start literally taking over all the jobs. So there needs to be some sort of, I don't know, universal income of some sort. Something needs to happen because there are going to be a lot of unemployed people in the country, and not just the country, around the world. It's coming, my friends.
It's time for Dave's Detox.
Typical cat, right? Oh, boy. That's a good dog. Uh-oh. What was wrong with it? Cat totally missed the mark there. What the heck? What? That mother duck take a wrong turn or something? Oh, geez. Man, you never want to see that happen. Oh, wow.
Yeah, you're so here.
Go, Rob, go!
Wait, why is she freaked out? Did she not know she was talking to an elk? It's like, what else would you expect? Oh, man. You do not want to see that in your backyard, that's for sure. Just chilling. Well, at least they're not, you know, destroying anything, right? You know these bears are going to be coming back for sure. This is their new spot. Oh, gosh. What the heck? All right. All right, let's dance. It's a dance party. Well, I hope you enjoyed the episode, and thank you to all those that subscribed today. And if you hit that thumbs up, I do appreciate it. Now listen, before you take off, there's going to be some videos showing up, one right here and one right about here, so check those out. I think you'll enjoy them. And until the next episode, stay safe, know that you're loved and appreciated. And until we meet again, have a great day.
I got nightmares in my head, I fear that the thoughts build up until I can't hear.